It's Kimberly Sherry, International Energy Healer, helping you lead a life of wealth without worry. Welcome to Friday's Inspiration. This is actually going to be the last Friday, so it's Friday in Australia, the last Friday I'm going to be doing from Australia. I'm even starting to sound funny now. Anyway, so last broadcast from Australia. Next, in fact, on Monday, I'll be leaving back to the Bay Area for a short while. And then my sister and I are going to head over to New Orleans, and then I'm going to be a speaker on a cruise going out of Miami, February 25th through the 2nd. So very excited about that. What I wanted to talk about today is whether or not you're ready to receive. Hey Teresa, thanks for joining us. We're just getting started here. And Rick, yes. Today I'm talking about whether or not you're ready to receive. So most of the people that follow me are generally people who are not willing to settle for mediocrity. They can feel that inner pull that keeps pulling them to try new things, to keep improving, to keep growing and expanding. And that's a lot like how I am. I just love learning new things and exploring and expanding. And so, the people that are interested in doing that, they are also interested in learning the best ways to be able to do what they do and manifest. And so that's why I wanted to talk about receiving today. So there's a tool that I taught, and so the tool that I'm going to talk about today is actually the very first thing that I taught when I started doing videos. My very first video was in 2011, and I was talking about this particular tool. In fact, I posted that on Facebook, so you can see how far I've come since that video. But anyway, so it's been a tool that I've been using for a long time, and long before I was even teaching it, I've been using that tool. So that tool is the Circle of Reciprocity. Hey Scott, thanks for joining us. It's talking about this Circle of Reciprocity. So in order for you to receive, first you have to have a desire. You have to desire something. What is it that you desire to receive? Is it more money? That's usually the first thing. Hey Raz, thanks for joining us. Money is usually the first thing that people think about when they think about, wanting to receive. But some people are wanting to have more loving relationships or have a love in their life. Some other people maybe need some support, whether it's support, emotional support, or support in their business. Maybe they need a virtual assistant. So there's all different, kinds of things that people are looking to receive. Maybe you need more time. And so sometimes people don't realize that when a client cancels and they're really bummed because they're thinking about maybe the money they lost, if they've been asking for more time, well, they just got some more time right there. So, even things that happen like that, the attitude of gratitude is really important. So this circle of receiving, when the Circle of Reciprocity is what I'm going to be talking about. There's a couple things that I want you to keep in mind when it comes to receiving. And so I want to use the example of the book that I'm writing as an example of receiving. So for those of you who've been following, notice that I just did a post on having just signed up for a publisher for the book, for my book. Title of the book is Access Your Ultimate Power, The Blueprint to Infinite Intelligence. So this is a book that's been many, many years in the making, and I'm going to be teaching you, this is one of the tools I'll be teaching in there, about how to receive what you desire and really start to step into your power. So this, when I think back, especially on this past year, of how I've been preparing. You have to be prepared to receive. We think you just ask and just pray and then it just comes. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, because what you're asking for, you're not quite prepared for. So when I look back on this past year and I think about Because I've been trying to write this book for a really long time. But when I think back in this last year and some of the things that have happened, like when I went to Peru for 3 months, that was all about being deeply grounded and deeply rooted into the earth. So originally, I teach to put those roots from your feet down, maybe at just a few miles. And then one day I started thinking, well, maybe I should measure and count, because that's what I do. I count everything. So I decided to count, and I discovered that my roots were going way deep in Peru. They went down like 100 miles. And then when I came back home, it was 150 miles. And then I met up with somebody, and they said that I should be sending my roots all the way to the other side of the planet, and then have it wrap all the way around the earth. And that was my roots. And that felt right for me. That's a bit much for other people, but I knew I was building a really big tree, and I was really going to be creating some big things. So that really made sense. And then when I went to Bali for 3 months, can't even keep track anymore. Being there was all about connecting to the feminine. And so the feminine is that receiving side. That's all about, not all of it, but a big part of it is about being able to receive. And since I've been here in Australia, one of the big lessons has been about the ego. So I've learned to be able to measure how much ego, and so when I say ego, I'm talking about the false ego, those parts of us where we think we're something, but what we think we are is most likely, so the false part is all of the beliefs that we've been taught of who we think we are, and maybe the ways that we're trying to fit into molds that are not actually us. So that's all part of the false ego. And whether or not it's important that the kind of car you drive, or status, those are pretty much big ego things. And so I was really glad to be able to measure this so that I could keep that at 0, because I don't want to be in that false ego. And so then I picked my word for the year, which is humility, because I knew that I'm stepping into something much bigger, and I don't want to be in that false ego place of, look at me, So my whole point of hey Wayne, thanks for joining us. My whole point of doing this book is because I know that the message that I've been given needs to be brought out in a much bigger way. People are ready for this information. And so I know that that's going to give me more exposure, more opportunities, more money, more all kinds of things. And so I have to be prepared to receive all of that. So receiving is kind of an interesting thing, because a lot of people, they ask for something, and then when they don't get what they're asking for, they blame other people. Like if you're in a relationship, and women are notorious for this, we just give, we give so much until the well is dry, and then we'll find even something under the barrel to try and give. And then we, say, well, I get nothing back, and they blame it on the other person. And so that's what the interesting thing about this circle of reciprocity is that it's a field, it's a circle of energy. It's a way of running energy and making sure that energy is flowing so that you can receive. So the way that it works, and if you want to watch the other video, you'll see another explanation of it. But the way that this circle of reciprocity works is it starts in the heart. Hey, Tanea, great having you here, talking about the circle of reciprocity. So that circle starts in the heart. It starts with giving, and giving from the heart. So that energy comes out the right arm, and then as we're giving out into the world, then it's going to loop into our left hand, and this might be backwards on the video, but loops into your left receiving hand, and then that energy comes up the left arm, and it passes through the front and back of this heart chakra. So there's a couple of new adjustments that I wanted to update you on about this tool, this circle of reciprocity. So one is that it goes through the front and back. I think in that original video, I just said, to bring it through. So you have to make sure it goes through the front and back of that chakra. So it's going through the front and back of the heart chakra. And when that energy passes through there, then you're going to be able to feel validated when you receive. You're going to feel good about what it is you're receiving. So that's all the energy that passes through the heart. And then as that energy comes out, it's going to simultaneously pass through your upper 4 chakras or energy centers. So right at the throat. So as you're receiving, as you give with the right arm, receive with the left. Then when you receive, well, first of all, you're going to be able to ask for what you need as that energy comes out the throat. And then you're going to be able to talk about and show appreciation for what it is you're receiving. As it passes through this 6th chakra, the upper chakra in your forehead, this is where all the beliefs that you hold, those limiting and lack mindsets. So you're going to be able to release and clear those beliefs that are not yours, the ones that are all part of that false ego, and things that are not true that you're still trying to filter your life through. And it just creates a lot of confusion when those are not your beliefs. So running this circle of reciprocity through there is going to help clear that. And then as it runs through your crown, so right at the top of your head, your 7th chakra, your crown chakra, this is where you get your own personal permission. Like, you don't have to get anybody else's permission to have, be, and do with your life as you choose. You get it right here. So that happens when you're running this circle of reciprocity through your crown chakra. This is also where you get direct access to pure source energy. So pure source energy comes down through the crown and then goes through your whole energy system. So it's really important to have that energy passing through the crown, out the right arm, in the left, through the crown, so that you can give yourself permission to receive. So there's one other adjustment that I want to make to this running this circle of reciprocity that I've discovered, is that it's also going to pass through your creative rings. So originally I was teaching that there are 3 creative rings above your head. This is where you hold all your dreams, your desires, your goals, your intentions. And so in these creative rings, that's where your dreams are, desires, goals, intentions. And what you need to do is discover that you may have more than just 3. So when that came to my attention that we might have more than 10 rings, I discovered I had 10 at that time. So if you're not sure how many you have, you can count, you can muscle test, you can go in, start checking in with yourself for what's true for you. You might be able to muscle test and get a number. So the amount of rings, as this energy is coming through the circle, it's also going to pass through all of these rings. So what does that mean when it does that? It means that as you're creating, you're giving out into the world and you're receiving, you're going to be receiving all the information that's in these creative rings. So the more rings you have, the more access you have to your Akashic records. Maybe you've heard that term before. The Akashic records hold all information. Past, future, everything that's happened is in these Akashic records. So you can access more of that information through these rings. So that is going to help to amplify your power. It's going to help amplify what you know. And you'll be starting to know things maybe you didn't even know you knew. So that's the new adjustment to running this circle of reciprocity. So you're going to be bringing it through the upper 4 chakras, out that right arm, in the left. It's going through all those. And it's going to go through all of your creative rings. So that's the new adjustment that's going to help you start to receive what it is you desire. And that's, all the things that we're asking for, those are the things that are generally the things that are going to make you happy and joyful and bring peace of mind and joy in your life. Because the truth is, you don't really just want paper and ink. Like people are, you know, wanting to get money, but they have a lot of those conflicting beliefs right up here. It's like, yeah, I think I could use some more money, but then there's all those limiting beliefs about if you have too much money, then you must have gotten it by some dishonest means, or you're greedy, or, you know, whatever those limiting and lack mindsets are. So it's really important to focus on the end result of what it is you desire. Look, I like to focus on pleasant surprises. Those are always fun. And of course, my favorite question, how does it get any better? Like better, who doesn't want things that are better? What does that mean? I don't know. It doesn't matter. If it's better, what does it matter? Yes, you need some more specific things, and you can send those intentions out, and that's what's going to be in your rings. But I'm just trying to show you that part of what you desire is not what you really desire. You want the end result, the joy, the happiness, the peace of mind, the fulfillment, the loving relationships, the connections with people, maybe some adventures and exploration and learning new things. So keep those things in mind when you're running your circle of reciprocity, and hopefully you'll be able to start seeing more of what you want to manifest. Progress in happiness. Yes, that's a great one. I love that. Yeah, we're always can get better, right? You can always make more progress in your happiness. It's kind of like, how does it get any better? That's a great one, Jack. Sweet. One last thing. So this is sort of covered in the other video, but I'll just say it now, because a lot of people wonder, like, well, how can I tell? How can I tell if it's moving and flowing? So there's two ways. One is you might be more visual. Like if you close your eyes, you can imagine seeing the energy. So if you're one of those kinds of people, you just close your eyes and then just start running that energy. Just imagine the energy coming out your right arm. So seeing and feeling, those are the two ways you're mostly going to know whether or not the energy is running. So if you can close your eyes, see if you can see it. But the way that I like to, and I prefer, is because I was a massage therapist for so long, my hands, they feel everything. It's like having I don't know, really smart hands. That's like extra brains or something. So I like to feel for the energy. And so if you pass your hand along your arm, you might feel where it gets a little stuck. It might feel a little spongy. And so you'll just keep using your hand and running the energy out the right arm in the left. And that's another way that you can just feel for the energy. So anyway, I will see you next week, and enjoy your weekend practicing your circle of reciprocity so you can receive what you desire. All right, sending much love, friends, and until we meet again, namaste.